What's up with
Shit,
y'all? This
man.
is Lala Madness News. We got DJ Tommy Browne and Young Swain in the building, so they stopping through, checking in, doing all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, Tommy Browne, he was kicking it off with a little intro, so we're gonna let him kick that back off. So, run it.
Shit, man. Coming to the stage. I'm gonna put it like that, man. Live, man. I got a king of Duval, man. Producer, engineer, MC, singer, writer, activist. You know what I'm saying? A man about his community. You know what I mean? And then mention a stand-up nigga. My partner. Let's introduce and bring up the squad. My man, Young Swain. Young Swain in the building, man.
What's happening with it? What's happening? What's happening with it, my bro?
Shit, you know what I'm talking about? My man, what's good, man?
Yeah.
Hey, man, we got you in here. Fine, get you link up, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just about a month ago or so, maybe. Man, I was scrolling through the gram, minding my business. I'm not the gram. I was on TikTok.
Right.
And some cats heard me replaying your new record.
Okay.
And they said, man, who is that? And before I told who it was, I said, y'all fucking with that? They said,
That's
play that
right.
shit again.
That's right.
I played it again. I said, man, that's Young Swain. I'm a you said that. So oh man, I'm so proud of you for this record. I see you
Appreciate it,
putting
bro.
all the Duval on the record. You got remixes for so it's a no-brainer to get the interview and this press up, man. So I want to salute you for that record.
I appreciate you, brother.
About the record, man, what you got?
I couldn't hear
Now,
what you
Young
said. It went
Swain,
up
why
breaking
don't
up.
you? And thanks for that intro, Tommy Browne, as well. Now, Young Swain, I know you are from. Of course, he mentioned Duval. What that? How they say
They're
it?
right. They're
Duval.
right.
They put the little.
Duval. Yeah.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
So I know you from Duval. He said you do a lot. I've actually heard some of the music myself. We've tapped in a time or two before now. So
Right.
for those of you that don't know Young Swain, I'm gonna let him go ahead and introduce himself before we get into the nitty-gritty of all the little industry stuff. Tell him a little bit about you. We'll get more into as well your community service and stuff. I'm gonna dig a little bit
Right.
deeper into that, as well as the music. So you wear rather many hats.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so let
Definitely.
us know a little bit about you.
I don't know. I ain't really big on speaking on myself, but you know, I handle a lot of business out here. Um, a lot of people know me. A lot of people don't know me, but at the same time, they know me, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I've been behind a lot of the different artists, productions through the city for a long time. Whether it was CD duplication or marketing materials or, you know, different events, things of that sort.
You said CD duplication. How far you go
Yeah,
back?
I go back. I go back.
When you
Back
said
with
CD duplication, that put
Tastemaker.
a date on you. That put a date
Yeah,
on you right there.
it's like that. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like that. Yeah, we was doing it when disc makers was doing it and all of that for the city. You know what I mean? A lot of the artists that had projects come out, they may have knew, may have not knew, but they came across my desk. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I've been out here for a minute.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
say CD duplication, baby, you've been out here rolling.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay. Carry on. I just was nosy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it ain't that much more to it. You know what I mean? Just I'm always behind the scenes or something, and that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, do you, as speaking of behind the scenes, because I know you're an artist as well, so you do release music, and then you've also played the other side where you have played a part in someone else's career, right? Whether that's
Right.
producing the music, whether that's, like you said, part of the promotion. How do you kind of balance that with your career and releasing kind of what you want and also being able to kind of intellectually tell your story, right? While also not letting it get convoluted in other people's stuff that you deal with as well. How have you balance that?
Well, the balance act is hard, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the time the business always gonna come first, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I kind of at this particular interval in my life with music, I release when I want to release in a sense, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, when I drop projects, it's based on subject matter. So I don't rush the process in that regard like I used to. I probably have, I probably got 16 studio albums, just
Okay.
already just sitting in the vault, that I haven't necessarily released yet. I think I released 10, 10 studio albums so far, something of that sort, you know what I mean? But
Okay.
I got music for days, but when I drop, and it's usually with some form of meaning behind it.
Okay. So how do you name, what are some of the topics? Because I know you say you kind of structure it according to maybe topics or where
Hmm.
you're at probably at the time. How do you
Right.
determine what your structure is going to be or what topic you going to kind of head into next? How do you kind of formulate that?
Life itself. Yeah, life itself. So
I knew it was. I was just
yeah.
wondering if you take real life stuff and go, I'm about to
Yeah,
hit on
absolutely.
this.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? I give you a prime example. A couple years ago, I ended up dealing with cancer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had a scare. You know what I mean? Didn't necessarily know if I was gonna survive or not. But during that time period, I kept seeing 333, which you probably see in my background right now. But I kept seeing 333 over and over again, like day in, day out. So that particular project, after I end up going through that surgery, I end up naming it 333 based off of, just the different things that I saw. And that was pretty much the subject matter for what it meant to me.
So you be getting deep with it, huh? Because most people don't even know about paying attention to synchronicities and those numbers and what they could mean to individual people. So what did the 333 mean to you as far as when you put it into your project?
It was a form of rebirth. It was a form of rebirth. But in order for the rebirth to occur, I had to go back to the time where I died, so it was just a progression. So I went from the time periods in the streets all the way to the time period where I was dealing with the actual situation with the cancer and the mind state that I was in at that time, and then overcoming that.
Hmm. Well, salute to you for that, for making it through and for actually taking something from it and doing something with it that kind of, and you don't know who you could touch and different, you don't know where people are because no one is kind of traveling the same road at the same time. So it may
Right.
not even be when you made it, it may touch somebody 5 years later because they may be. So salute to you for even putting the effort in to kind of make that happen,
Yeah, I
which is
appreciate that.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Now in the and we're gonna get into the Duval made. I checked out the Tommy Brown remix and a couple other ones that you did. Where
Right.
did you get the inspiration for that? Because I know you heavy in the Duval community. You moving around. You know a little bit of everybody, and you tapping into kind of what's going on, as well as I guess recording for artists and producing and doing other, giving them the push. So
Right.
what gave you the or what struck that in you in order to tap into the Duval made, I guess, kind of anthem? What do you consider it?
Yeah, it's definitely an anthem for the streets more so than anybody. Honestly, where it came from, literally, it just came to me as like a download. Um, one night I was just vibing and then I just heard it and then I hummed it into my phone. And when I hummed it into my phone, I ended up going to the studio the next day and then I created it. You know,
Mm.
um, that's pretty much how that happened.
So you believe in like when something strike right now, you do that little record real quick so you don't lose that thought and tap
Got
back
to,
into it later.
got to,
Hell
got
yeah.
to,
Or write it
got to.
down one.
Yeah, yeah. You write the vision, you make it plain. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
with that particular situation, I heard the music. I can literally play you the recording of it. You know what I mean? And then I just went to the studio the next day and then I put it together. But then I realized that it was bigger than me. So I thought like, okay, how could I make this particular project touch the city? So I ended up reaching out to a lot of the different artists and stuff like that that I know. Couple of them that I didn't know, you know what I mean? And then we started getting the ball rolling with that in that regard.
Okay. And so you got a couple of different people jumping on the song, basically giving
Mm-hmm.
their verse or whatnot throughout different versions.
Right, right. So the whole concept is the bridge, the young, the old, the younger artists, older artists, DJs, videographers, photographers, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you do, you know, just get everybody together on one page because one of the big things in Duval is that, you know, they always call it a crowd pot, you know, and which it is. But the thing is, we really operate in silos. Everybody operates in their own cliques and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
we break that structure down and come together like them boys do in Texas, like them boys do in Atlanta. Jump down on the record. Let's put something together from each side of town. You know what I mean? And get everybody as a collective to represent the overall city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The
that's
funny
big.
part is that you're at that same mindset right now because that's what's kind of going on with the ability to break records. So that's been an issue, I guess, here lately in the DJ community and also dealing with artists of being able to break the records. And I've mentioned and said that, and now I'm just doing it myself on my own because, and they're going to see, there's no way to do it by individual DJ crews. You
Right,
have to have the market, which would consider everybody in that market, regardless of what your affiliation is or who you repping or whatnot. You have to break the barrier down, the walls of who's with who and whatever clique is whatever, and
right,
kind of hone in on what's the objective. The objective is to break the record. You kind of need everybody as a unit to
right,
do that as a whole, not so much
right,
in different sectors. So you are kind of bringing Duval together, regardless of your whether you're an artist or whether you're on the production side or whether you're a DJ, like you said, photographer. So you kind of bringing everybody together on that is a good thing. Is that kind of roll into, or did you get that mindset from the community service stuff that you tapped into? Tell us a little bit about that.
Um, in a sense, but I mean, my thing has always been we greater together. You know what I mean? Like that's my mind state. You know,
Mm-hmm.
us as a people, like, you know, and not to deviate off a topic, but still on topic. You know what I mean? My thought has
Mm-hmm.
always been, how can 1,000 people lead 1,000,000? You know what I mean? How can 1,000 people lead 1,000,000?
Right,
And it's
right, right.
division. It's division. The only way that you can lead these people is if you got these people at odds with each other. You know what I mean? So the whole thought process is bridging that gap of the division and bringing
Mm-hmm.
everybody back together on one page. So at the end of the day, we way stronger together than we would ever be apart. You know,
That's
whether
right.
it's music or whatever type of industry. You know, that's
That's
just what
right.
it is.
How do you and you've been out for a while, like we mentioned earlier, and as far as the division, and I don't want to get my little thought process involved here, but how do you feel about the music as far as probably where you started out at in the CD days, right?
Uh-huh.
To what you've seen over the last maybe 10 years, at least a good 10, maybe 15. We'll
Right.
go with at least the last 10, right? So
Okay.
now things are kind of going back to the, I call it the 99 and 2000s.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
going back to, right, to maybe that when we had music, a certain type
Yeah.
of music, a certain, even the music has changed as far as your BPMs and all of that. Nobody's even noticed certain things, and that was all for a
Right.
reason. So
Right.
now that I know the trajectory is all of the music that you probably grew up with or that you started out doing is probably back in now. So
Right.
how did you kind of maneuver and manage the different type of music that had kind of slid in over that time?
Um, I mean, you always gonna have a commercial sound, right? You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a commercial sound, a commercial vibe. But at the end of the day, you feel real music. You know what I mean? Like real music give you a certain type of feeling. I think Scarface said it best, you know what I mean? Like if I don't feel it, like I can't do it. So my thing is music that touch emotion. Music that touch emotion is always going to be a predominant form of music, regardless. Art that touch emotion is always going to be a predominant form of art. So no matter how much they try to water it down, no matter how much they try to change the energy and the frequency in the music or whatever, humans in general have certain emotions. So if you can tap into those emotions, you always gonna have a place in music regardless. It's art.
Stop playing. You better come on with your little educated self.
No,
Talk
that's
that
what it
shit,
is.
man.
Stop. You
Talk that
hear?
shit, man.
You
No,
hear?
that's the reality. That's the
Speaking that
reality.
Talk that
good
shit, man.
wisdom. He's speaking that good wisdom up in here.
Yeah, that's
So,
real.
and thank you for that too, because I like to get like nosy and kind of inquisitive on like where your mind is
Yeah.
and certain things that's going on, right? Because he's been out for a while. I can see if he showed up last week, I wouldn't even know what the hell to ask you because you ain't did shit. But
Right,
we,
right, right. Okay, bro.
but we here now.
Right, right, right.
Let's
So I'm Eric Whitehead. I'm Sierra's husband. I'm actually one of the co-founders of Ghetto Girl East, and I actually help